Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ, and today I want to introduce you to NeurodiVeRse. NeurodiVeRse is my third novel, which is releasing on August 14th of 2023, and I'm very excited to share this novel with you. So first of all, here is the cover for NeurodiVeRse. Right now it is available for pre-order on Amazon for a special pre-order price of $2.99. That will go up to the regular ebook price of $4.99 on release day. So what is NeurodiVeRse? Well, it is a queer science fiction book with a non-binary autistic main character. And our main character, Jupiter Janai, is an educational technology consultant. Specifically, they specialize in working on and testing software for autistic kids for educational purposes. And what they really want is to kind of try and find a place to belong. They're in their 30s and they have gone from high school to college where they kind of stayed in that safe bubble, and now they're just emerging from that bubble with 2 master's degree and no sense of how the world really works, and trying to find a place where they can kind of call their own. And it isn't going very well for them. Jupiter moved to Long Beach, California for a job, and they're really hoping that they found their place because they know that, California is specifically a place for that is supposed to be accepting for LGBTQIA individuals. I don't want to go and spoil the entire plot, but let's just say that it isn't going very well for them, and they end up getting fired and get a mysterious invitation to interview for a job. And for the interview, they receive this kind of urban legend virtual reality headset. So they've seen this headset on a few streamers' channels that they've gotten their hands a hold of it, and they've never been able to get it to work. And then after they've showcased it on their channel, they may possibly have kept it around for a trophy for a little bit, but not too much longer. Either then it mysteriously disappears, never to be mentioned again, or the streamers disappear and just stop using their platform. And Jupiter's holding this in their hand, thinking about how much money it's worth, and has to decide what they plan on doing with it. And then comes NeurodiVeRse. Like any of my books, there's a lot of myself kind of fictionalized in the story. So I started writing NeurodiVeRse after I had came out, expecting to not have necessarily like an understanding of people. I came out in my 40s as non-binary, and it threw some people for a loop, even though like that surprised me, because before I transitioned I was like talking to people about it and such before I came out at work and stuff, and it ended up being a not very pleasant experience for myself. I ended up having to switch jobs, so I no longer work for the company that I worked for when I came out. There's a lot of backstory for it, but some of the events that happened in NeurodiVeRse are inspired upon what happened during my own transition, both in the community as well as in the workforce. And when I was writing NeurodiVeRse, I was thinking, okay, so here I am living in a very LGBTQIA friendly city in a very liberal state, and this is what it's like for me, where I'm at times afraid to go into a grocery store, and I couldn't imagine what it was like elsewhere. And then also like to have the protection of my skin color during this transition as well. And I just kind of wanted to write a book that kind of showcased, hey, here's like the daily microaggressions that trans people have to deal with. And I know like it can seem unbelievable, but it's not. But then there's also this other side of Jupiter also being autistic, and the difficulties that society has with autistic individuals. And specifically during the pandemic, the world became a lot more neurodiverse friendly, and that was really hard for non-neurodiverse individuals and neurotypical individuals. And some of them were like, well, I can't deal with this, so everyone has to adapt to my way of thinking, because I had such a hard time during this very short time of the pandemic, and became very inflexible. And just the ableism that came during that period, and it was astonishing. But also during the pandemic, like, I don't think I realized how much I had to mask just to function through a day until the pandemic came, until I was able to work from home. And how much that, how much relief that gave me. And to have people just rip that away, not only to me, but also to my youngest. So my youngest was in virtual school during the pandemic, and as we were going back to normal, it wasn't really working for them either. So we had a discussion about what would be their ideal school, and they described a virtual reality world where they were able to learn independently. And so that those aspects got written into NeurodiVeRse also. And so in this book, I had two types of beta readers. Ones that, well, actually really three types of beta readers. Ones that were familiar with LGBTQIA or trans themselves. Ones that were not trans and also were neurotypical. And then I also had autistic beta readers. And what really surprised me is that, like, my autistic only beta readers, a lot of their feedback came back with like, okay, I get the ableism, but really, is this transphobia real? And then my trans LGBTQIA friendly or group came back with, okay, well, we get the transphobia, but is the ableism really valid? And then the people that were neither, they were either wow, this is a lot, or didn't respond well to it all. And actually got some feedback that was more in line with, you know, the microaggressions for transphobia and ableism. Yeah, it's kind of a story of what it means to be trans and autistic, and I think if you are one of those groups, you can relate that one piece of it, but you'll kind of learn a little bit more about the other group. It is still fictionalized account, it's still science fiction, it's near future science fiction, but then also talks a lot about the politics around identity. And I did want to move the needle forward a little bit to say, hey, society had made some progress, even though we're still having a lot of issues, and that's kind of where NeurodiVeRse is set. So yeah, so there it is. That is my third novel, full of a lot of a fictionalized account of identity, as well as a little bit of social commentary put in there, just like I think is in all of my books, to various degrees. And I hope that if it sounds interesting at all, if you are trans, non-binary, or autistic, that you'll check it out and find something that resonates with you. Or if you're not either of those groups, that you'll pick it up with an open mind and give it a shot, especially if you like a good science fiction, because ultimately what I was trying to do was write a good science fiction that had a point. So there we go. So NeurodiVeRse is available for pre-order now. I also still am taking ARC readers for ebook, audiobook, and I have a very few limited paper ARC readers for US only. So if you are interested in that, there's a link in the comments below. And I appreciate you listening and potentially checking out my book. And as always, keep writing, keep reading, and until next time.